There's somebody. Okay. Hi, I'm Leanne from Magic Art Studio. My studio is in Eastern Pennsylvania. I'm kind of a suburb of both Philadelphia and New York City. I've been in business for 15 years. And just a little bit about my business so you understand where I'm coming from. We do not rely heavily on walk-in. We rely mostly on events. I do a lot of off-site. I have kind of a hybrid mobile / brick and mortar studio. So we do a lot of off-site events and we do a lot of events in the studio, and that's where we make our money. So like everybody else, when COVID shut down and we all kind of went into pivot mode, we all started doing to go, and that was great. But as we began that, I also shifted any events I had on my calendar that I could possibly shift to being a Zoom event. That's what I did. And so I'm here to talk to you today about Zoom events, what I've done, what's worked for me, and some ideas that you may want to take away and use in your own studios. So, and I'm sure like me, to-go kits have also slowed down quite a bit. So events right now are huge. People are looking for things to do. I have found that themes, and just like in the studio, when you do like a themed event, you get a lot of people, and or things that I direct them. I show them exactly what we're going to do and step by step do it. They always came to my studio or other places for me. They came for my personality. They became my followers. Many of them became my friends. So I still want to bring me across on the screen. So some things that I've been doing, we're going to go over. And also I want to mention, just so anybody isn't aware, California is already thinking about reclosing again. I don't know if they have. Pennsylvania, where I am, they're rolling back some of the freedom they had given us. And I think we're going to see more and more of that as these numbers in some of these southern states continue to rise. It's also going to happen where, you know, like I would consider myself the North, but I'm really mid-Atlantic, but it'll happen here too. So and I think even if we go all the way to reopen, I think there will be times over the course of the next year to 18 months where we have intermittent shutdowns or partial shutdowns. So if you can get on top of your Zoom events now and get customers interested in doing them, I think I would. Why not? We've been pretty successful. So as far as themes go, we've done several. We've done Harry Potter nights online, and we've done, I'm trying to think the other one. I can't think of the other one. But what we have coming up next week that I'm so excited about is our unicorn party. So that's a themed one, you know, for kids. We're getting kids in that one. And we're doing it Wednesday night on Zoom. And they had a choice of Chad or Chloe. And along with Chad and Chloe, they get the book about Chloe the Catacorn. And then I went on Amazon and found like some party favor stuff. So they're all getting the unicorn headband, which I will also wear while we're on. They're getting unicorn slime, a unicorn straw, and a unicorn like lollipop treat. So I put it out there as a unicorn party. I don't call them, you know, workshops. I don't call them events, especially for kids. I call them parties. They have a choice of Chad or Chloe. And of course, there was the option to purchase both. They all get included a book, and they get the treats included. And then, so I believe I charged $35 a child. So they're getting one bisque item and the book and the little treats. So it's, you know, not making a decent profit on it. And I also gave the option, because I now ship nationwide. So I gave the option if they want it shipped to them and they want to paint it in acrylic and not return it to me. So they chose between acrylic or glaze. And we've gotten a pretty good response to that. So, and if anybody decides they want to do a unicorn party, I really did a really cute little video of Chad and Chloe. It's kind of like a stop motion thing with like hearts and butterflies, all kinds of stuff. If anybody wants to use it, they're more than welcome. Just shoot me a message and I'll send it to you. Because I got a lot of hits the day I put that out there. So that's a kid one. I've also done a ton of adult ones. Because to be honest, I was more focused on getting my virtual camps going, which we're doing as well. But, and then to me, if I come home from camp on Wednesday night, I want to do an adult class online. So a couple of the ones we've done that we've had great success with is we did a plant and bonsai. So we purchased this footed bowl from BI, Bisque Imports. And what I did is I modified it. I hope nobody from Bisque Imports yells. I drilled holes in the bottom. Because my bonsai, I got a bonsai guy, and he said he had to have drainage holes. So I bought a plaster drill bit. It takes all of about 10 seconds to get through this. And you just drill straight through before they're glazed and fired. And then they painted with me using specialty glazes. If you guys aren't using specialty glazes yet, or if you're not pushing them a lot, they are big right now. You can get a ton of people to do this. So we did this. They had a choice of green specialty glaze or blue. So say they chose the blue, they got 3 specialty glaze colors, which I packed in condiment cups. And I do write on the condiment cups what the name of the color is, because as you know, they don't look like what they're going to look like. I always give them more than they need. I always tell them when we sit down, and the first thing I do is go over everything that's in their kit. And at that time I say, please return any unfinished glaze, especially with the specialty glazes, because I don't know, they're a little more expensive and you want to give them enough so they have enough, but why not take it back? So I keep them then in baggies, sealed in their little condiment cups, separated by what their name is. So right now, and because I pushed a lot of blue and green all at the same time, that's what I have. So they came with me, they painted these, and these did need to come back to me. So it was all local people. They painted these, they dropped them off to be glazed, and 3 weeks later, on Thursday, 3 weeks later, they met with my bonsai guy, and he taught them how to plant their bonsai, and he taught them how to care for it. And we got a great response. When I say great response, for me in the studio, my studio is not huge because we do so much off-site. So in the studio, 40 is like our max, and that's a pretty tight fit. So if I have 20 people in a class, I'm beyond thrilled. And if I have 10, for me, that's an successful 2 hours of my time. And all of my online virtual classes, I'm typically getting at least 10. So when I say we did well, I'm happy with 10. For, I think, the bonsai one, I think we had 12. So I'm happy with that. They paid $60. So I took 30, and Michael, our bonsai guy, took 30. We're going to use this bowl, which is also a BI bowl. You see, my hole's already in there because we're going to use this for succulents. And my bonsai guy, even though he's a bonsai guy, he'll do succulents with them. We're going to paint that. We've already painted that a couple of times as a virtual event just to use. And I do the jungle gems on the outside and a regular specialty glaze on the inside. And they've done a couple of different ones. This one I kind of speckled some jungle gem dust in. So when we do these, I do this for stemless wine glasses also. So we do, I'll paint a couple of samples with inside glaze and outside glaze, and then they choose. Or I'll give them, like with the bonsai, I said choose between blue and green, and then I just gave them complimentary specialty glaze blues or complimentary specialty glaze greens. I also want to point out, just in case you're seeing colors on these, I tend to use specialty glazes from every manufacturer, so they're all kind of mixed up depending upon what I do. So I don't want you to say, oh, why can't I find that color? So I use everybody's because I love the specialty glazes and customers are thrilled with them. With our breweries, because we were doing a lot of work in breweries. Oh yeah, it's a provincial. I couldn't think of that name. We are doing specialty glaze beer steins. So again, I give them some color choices. They paint their stein. They return it to me. And in their ticket, they get a free beer. So I run down to the brewery and pay for my beers, and they give me cans, and everybody gets a can of beer with their beer stein. Because I was doing a lot of work with these breweries already, and they're shut down just as much as I am. So I like the idea that we can help each other still. And the steins, I've done so many of them this year, I can't even count, in person and online. They're hugely popular. We did them as a Father's Day thing, where they got the stein that the kids didn't paint with specialty glaze, they just painted. And they got a beer to give their dad. It's been super popular. I have a lot of specialty glaze sitting around me because I have this, which is specialty glaze. We did this, Amanda vase, it's called, and we did this with a florist. So when they glazed them, gave them back to me, I took them off and fired them, and then I took them to the florist, and they picked them up curbside at the florist with flowers in them. So, we've done, obviously, a lot of specialty glaze. We're doing our unicorn party. I have graphics for a lot of stuff that doesn't have my name on it. If anybody wants to do something and you don't want to have to paint samples, especially the wine glasses, and I forgot to bring them home. I'm at home and the wine glasses are at my studio. I painted only 3 of them, but I used 6 different glazes, and I posted pictures with what the names of the glazes were, and they each, you buy a set of 2. So, and they're not wine glasses. There's somebody on CCSA tipped me in their planters. It's the geometric planter and the ocean drift planter. And we're selling them as wine glasses. And they see the picture of the 3 glasses with 6 different colors. So they choose 2 glaze colors, and they get 2 of the wine glasses. And I let them choose, you want 2 geometric, 2 ocean drift, or 1 of each. I've been selling those like crazy. People love them. I've bought an awful lot since I started that. I think I started that in like April or May, and I've had people come back who did it online with me, and they're like, can I just paint more? So I just get them more. Thanks, Amy. So those are my basic Zoom events. I've also done some special events. One I don't make money on, but it's 2 hours of the Leanne show. And one I do make money on. So they are these. I do bingo with my customers virtually. And we do it every like few weeks on like a Friday night. You can't charge for the bingo because then you're online gambling, so just be careful about that. And you get your bingo cards from myfreebingocards.com, I think they're called. They're easy to find. And you can get 30 cards for free, but that's not an awful lot, so you end up paying for them. But even so, it's not expensive. You can get like 250 cards for like $10 or something, and there's always 20% off codes, so it's not bad. And what we do is we don't do any painting. It's just bingo. They sign up. I usually allot only 50 tickets available. I do give them the option to buy extra cards because that's my workaround. So I'll get probably half of them that buy extra cards. So by the time it's all said and done, I maybe make $50, but that's fine because we spend 2 hours playing bingo. Every game is a prize, and it's something that I offer, something specific that I'm into pushing right now. When it was April and I was still like rolling out the idea of virtual camp, I gave away free weeks to camp, and I did it only in weeks that I already knew I had kids, so I was going to be there anyway. And then I offer a monthly craft subscription, so I'll give one of those away. And these look like huge ticket items. Like the virtual camp is $100 and something dollars, and my monthly craft subscription's like $40, $45. So it looks like they're getting a great prize, but we all know it's not. I'm using wholesale products to build that prize, really. But I'll show, like, as an example, I'll be like, we have this beautiful footed bowl. This is our prize. And I'll go over all the specifics of it. They have to listen to me talk about the item for 5 or 10 minutes. And then also in between games, like, we'll take like a little break from bingo. And I'll just be like, oh, guys, I got to show you this new thing I got. Look at this cute unicorn. And I'll just go off about something. And this is what I was kind of saying. Like, they come to my studio because they like my personality. They sit on that 2 hours of bingo because they like to play bingo, but they also don't mind listening to me talk. So, some people probably don't sign up because they don't want to hear me talk. But it's a great marketing tool. I get emails all the next day or messages on Facebook or, from people saying, thank you so much for doing that. We had such a blast. We appreciate it so much. And meanwhile, I'm looking at it like it's part of my marketing budget. It's a 2-hour commercial for my studio, and I have fun doing it, so I say it's a win-win. My other one that I do that is a big-time win-win is we do painting and karaoke. So, and the way we do it, I looked and looked for ways to do it, and there are more technical ways than what I'm doing, but you have to have technical customers. And I didn't want anybody to feel left out in this. So what we do is you go on, my website, you purchase an item, and I think I make it usually not everything I have available to go, but I'll offer like, say 10 projects they can choose from in a range of prices. I always try to have something in there lower cost for some people, and then, all the way up to something big. They order the to-go kit for that, and when they order, they get the Zoom link for karaoke night. And then I email them a few days before, and I explain how we're going to do this. And the way we do it is each person's responsible for their own songs. So, for example, if you want to sing, Careless Whisper, I'm just trying to think of the name of the song. You find that on YouTube, and you search it as Careless Whisper karaoke version. And I tell them all this. And then they find that, and when it's their turn to go, because we're on Zoom, I allow them to share their screen, so they share the video. So we're not all watching them sing on Zoom, and they sing along to the video. So everybody else is muted, we only hear them, and we see the video. When we first started talking about doing this, I actually asked the bingo people if they would want to do karaoke, and somebody said, yeah, if you don't have to watch me. So that's why we don't watch them sing. We start out the night by doing like a group sing, and it's a song that I pick, and I just play it on my screen, and that way, and everybody's turned on, so you can't really hear anybody but yourself. And that kind of loosens everybody up. And then they paint their project, they sing karaoke. It's not even a project that I have to instruct. So again, win-win. And they love it. So this is what I'm trying to say, because a lot of studios I know are hesitant to jump on to Zoom and teach classes. They're not classes, they're workshops, they're events. There's absolutely no reason not to do it. In fact, the one that's in the back of my mind that I'm going to do next is the paint by numbers that Teddy Wright told us about from Mako. I'm planning to get some photos from people. I'm going to make it up for them, and we'll all do the same size plate and, charge $45, and everybody can make this plate. I've done a lot of wood with virtual also, but when I do those, I put it right out there that I ship nationwide. I've had people, don't forget I'm in Pennsylvania. I've had Chicago, Buffalo, Tampa. I've had people from all up and down the East Coast and the Midwest on these Zooms with us. So you have to start thinking outside the box. Your studio, if it ever goes back to normal, I want you to think about that it may not happen for a year to 18 months. I have a brother who teaches about infectious diseases. So he scares me enough that I'm always planning. So I want you to take my advice and plan and start getting these events. Like, I'm already in my mind. I know my events that are going to go on between now and Christmas. One of the things I do that makes me very different from most of you is I do blown glass ornaments in the fall. That's my huge moneymaker for the fall season. So obviously, I'm not going to do that, because when we do that, well, not obviously, but the reason we aren't going to do it, when we do that, I am shoulder to shoulder with the person. I usually have one arm wrapped around them to, help protect them if I need to protect them, and I get their spit on me. So obviously, I'm not doing that this fall. Now you see why I say obviously. So that's a panic point for me. I could lose my mind thinking about the fact that I can't do that. So instead, because I'm wanting to be proactive, I'm planning what we're going to do between now and Christmas to keep our store going, to keep not necessarily the store itself, but to keep my business going, to keep myself afloat. My income is the only income. I'm single. So, I have a house to pay for too, and a car to pay for. So for me, I don't want to have to go get a regular job. I want to keep this business going. So I also, besides giving you event ideas, I want to give you some Zoom tips, because I know some people are very hesitant. Oh, and I want to mention, go back to the karaoke for a second. If you do the karaoke, you have to do it on Zoom, because if you do that on Facebook and you're using all kinds of songs that aren't, you don't have license to use, do not use Facebook Live for karaoke. Absolutely. I use Zoom for everything because I want it to be private. I don't want everybody to be able to get into it unless they've paid to get into it. That's my thinking. That's just how I roll. So some things I want you to think about if you're doing a Facebook Live or a Zoom, because I see these things. I see people doing these things, and there's no reason for it. So I want you to think about this. I want you to always check your lighting. You should never sit with the camera facing a bright light. You should never have your back to a bright window when you're filming yourself. You should never have your light source behind you. It should always be out there, so it's lighting your face. I'm sure you've all been on Zooms with people where you just see a halo kind of around them and you can't really see their face. It's because the light's coming from behind them. So you want to check your lighting. I always, before I get on Zoom or on Facebook Live, I set up my area. Where am I going to put my camera? Where am I going to sit and picture what's behind me? If I hadn't told you that I was at home, you might think I'm in my studio because I have glaze behind me. I have ceramics all behind me. I just happen to be in my home studio. But I think about that. Look at your camera shot and don't have something. Quite honestly, this room all around me, because it's my home studio, it literally right now looks like a bomb hit, but you don't have a clue to that. So, and if I showed you, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's a wreck. I'm in the middle of packing up 100 boxes that I have to ship out tomorrow. So this is a wreck here, but you wouldn't know that. So make sure you always check, turn on your video. Don't go live until you're sure you like what you see. I go on an hour before and set it all up to be the way I want it. So we got lighting, we got background. I want you to remember, always be yourself. Act the same way you would in your studio. And people, I find, on Zoom are actually more forgiving than they are in the studio. If you make a mistake or if you forget something, thank you for this. When you do step-by-step project, how do you show the project in more detail? That's a great question. So somebody's asking, how do I show step-by-step projects, how I'm doing it? What I do is I have one of those flexible arms, and I would show you it, but my phone's on it right now. I have a flexible arm that holds my phone, and I have my laptop present, and I set up at my work table, and my laptop signs in but I mute my laptop. So my laptop is just them looking at my face, like I'm in that Brady Bunch grid. And then I set up my phone so it's pointed at my workspace. And I make my phone the host so that my phone records and it gets just the my hands working. So yes, you definitely need multiple cameras, and it takes a little practice. So sign yourself into a Zoom where it's just you, and make sure you have it all the way you want it before you sign on with your customers. And then, so as I was going to say is, I want you to always be natural, act like yourself. Don't act, like somebody else. And one thing that I do, and I'm doing it right now, is no matter how well I know my subject, I make myself a list of bullet points that I want to talk about, and I post them back behind my camera. So I can see them. The way they're sitting, you probably had no idea that I was reading at any point, but I have a tendency to start talking and forget about important things that I want to mention. So I write them all so that I can see them all. I mean, right now on my paper, it says Leanne Purkis, owner of Magic Arts Studio, because I might forget to tell you who I am or where I work. So I write everything down step by step. And the other thing I do, somebody's laughing at me. The other thing I do is I make myself an identical kit to what they're getting, particularly when it's the people who I'm shipping far away. Well, even close, like I'm not going to be able to get them something if they don't have it. So I always make one extra kit, and I open it with them. We go through every item in it. We talk about everything that's in there. And I just want to go back to specialty glazes for a minute, just so you're clear on what I'm doing. When we did this bowl, as an example, you see I have 3 different colors of glaze. Maybe 4, because there might be something different in there. So I gave them the choice, blue theme or green. And then I gave them that, let's say 3 for sake of argument. I gave them 3 different cups of glaze, and I gave them the names of those glaze. The day of the event, which it should have been earlier, but that's just me being behind schedule, I sent them an email. I pulled off our manufacturer's pages, the color swatch for those 3 that they had chosen. I emailed them to them with the names, and I said, have this available when we're on the call. And then I said to them, okay, so you have 3. I know one's mirror blue. I don't remember what the other 2 are. So I said to them, those are your 3. This is how I use them. And I go over it with them, and I tell them which one's which. And I said, you can use them any way you want. And I teach them how to make like the drops work, how to load their brush and rub their brush to get the drips. And I tell them how many coats I want them to paint. But every one came out different, even though they had the same colors, because we all used a different one as our base and a different one as the outside. And so I'm guiding them, but I'm not. Now, there are things that we do step by step by step together. And that's the case where I would use the 2 cameras. If we were just doing this and I'm just talking to them about color choices and stuff, we just do 1 camera. So, that's kind of all I want to say. Does anybody have any other questions that I need to address? I'm going to look back a little and see if there was any that I missed, because I don't think I did. And you see BI's putting the items I've used. And if anybody... first of all, my name, I'm the only Leanne Purkis on Facebook. I'm very easy to find. So if anybody wants images of anything that I've done, because you just want to get it out there and see if you can get people, let me know, and I can send them to you. I think I have almost everything available without my studio name on it. So, and I know for me, I get it. Like, you got to paint the sample, you got to make the graphic, then you got to get it posted as an event. That takes a lot of time. So if you can save a few steps, I have no problem helping you save those steps. Just reach out, let me know. How do you use 2 cameras? So they're both signing into Zoom. My laptop signs in as me, and then I go into my, I think actually that's not true. I think my laptop just signs in not through my Zoom account, but I don't think it would matter. And then I go to my phone, and my phone signs in as the host. So really, my phone is signing in first, and then my laptop signs in later. And my phone, I have the flexible arm, so it is attached to my table, and it's like up here looking down at what I'm working on. Does that help, Ed? Does that answer your question? Or are there any other questions? Amy, am I the one and only? Is that what you're saying? Oh, do I market these Zoom events any particular way? So I use Instagram and Facebook. I'm horrible at sending out emails, although that's on my list to start doing, because I know that I just listened to a podcast about how important it is to email your customers. So I'm going to try to really work on that. That's my August goal. But I do Instagram and Facebook. I try to always have a print, like a graphic, and then a still graphic, let's put it that way. And I try to also have a moving graphic, either in my story or even on, like, the unicorn video that I did for the unicorn party was too long, I think, to put in a live. So, on my story, I mean, so I just posted on my page. A lot of my advertising is during those bingo games and karaoke nights. Because even the karaoke night, I talk to them about all the stuff I have. I also do Facebook Lives, like a lot of people are. So we do a live sale, but I'll do unboxing Facebook Lives. Even I'll pop on for 10 minutes just to show them new products I have, or to talk about a class that's coming up. So I'm very heavily Facebook oriented. I have a pretty, good group. We've gained 700 followers since COVID started. So, my Facebook game, I think, is okay. And I've really worked this year on upping my Instagram game. So, and stories have been a big hurdle for me, but I'm getting better at them. So that's where I do all my marketing. Any other questions before we go? I'll give you a second. I know there's always a little lag. I would say, if I could give you one piece of advice, it would be anything that I could do in the studio. I've found a way to do it as a to-go kit. In fact, some of you may know that I do the silk scarf dyeing, and I came up with a microwave silk scarf dyeing, which is basically tie dyeing, that I've been shipping out to people. Like, you just have to find the way to word it and find something that get yourself some great images. The pictures you take of your projects obviously are the most important. Your graphics. I use I don't know if anybody else uses. I use Pic Collage to put my pictures, more than one picture. And then I use Word Swag. Word Swag has changed my life. Carrie, I'm in Eastern Pennsylvania, just north of Philly and south of New York City. I'm closer to all of New Jersey than I am most of Pennsylvania. Word Swag, it's SWAG. If you haven't used that app, oh my gosh, life-changing. I mean, it makes your graphics look so professional. The one of the planters that I use as wine glasses, I took a picture, I did it on Word Swag. I sent it to my brother. He's like, who'd you get this image from with this words? I'm like, that's mine. He's like, wow. My brother's like my VP of checking me. His job is to make sure I stay in line. I asked a question about Zoom accounts. Do you have a professional account, and does it limit your time per event? Hi, Carolyn. So my Zoom account is pro. I believe it's $14.99 a month. It limits you at 24 hours. So, and 100 participants. So, I'm actually doing an event next week that's 100 people, but we split it into 2. So I don't have to worry about going over 100, I don't think, yet. And you have 24 hours. The one thing you want to remember if you're recording, I record all of my Zoom events because inevitably somebody doesn't show up and then I can just send them the recording. When you do that, you want to go back on your laptop or someplace later and download it and save it on your computer as a file because you will run out of storage. I do, like if I do two 2-hour events, I run out of storage on Zoom. And they're more than happy to sell you more storage space at $40 a month, but there's no need for it. You can download it and then that file's on your computer forever. Anybody else have any questions? And as I said, my name is Leanne Purkis. I am super easy to find. You search Leanne Purkis on Facebook, you're going to find me. I think there's a couple other people that spell it differently, but if you spell it right, you'll get me. I'm just trying to see if there's any other questions. Because I think we've been on about 30 minutes now, tying up, a little over, tying up BI's Facebook page. Just an aside note, and I don't have them yet, I'm doing an event. It's our light up event, our summer light up event, and I didn't talk about Christmas trees yet. I just approached it like a summer light up event. We're doing the tiki that's coming out, that I think it's coming this week from BI, and the camper. And I believe altogether I've sold 15 or 17 so far. That makes me happy. That's a good amount to sell. So, and like, I know I'll sell more as we go in further into the year, but, that was in like 24 hours. I sold those. So that, like, the campers right now, the vintage campers are really trendy. And right now, a lot of people this summer are going camping. I mean, I usually take a huge trip in August, and our huge trip this year is camping. So, you know, everybody's going, or like staying in like cabins and stuff. It's like a different mindset this year. So if you can come up with a camper theme, if you want to just do what I did and combine it with the tiki, because the palm tree and tiki hut are amazing. I mean, why not? And I think I sold more of the campers than I did the tiki huts, but they're pretty close, and everybody's very excited about those. So that's my August one. So I don't even think about it because I haven't even painted them yet, and I don't even have them yet, but that's an idea. So I think I'm going to sign off because I don't see any more questions coming, but don't hesitate to reach out to me. Hey, BI, those tikis are available starting this week for real, right? I think it was the 15th. I have a feeling mine may be already shipped, but I'm not sure. I have like so many shipments coming from BI because I just order on the fly and I don't remember what's what. So if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm on CCSA Chatter, or you can PM me. Okay. I'm going to sign off because I think we're good. Thank you all. Have a great day. I hope I helped at least one person going out there and setting up Zoom events now. Okay? Have a great day.